One show at a time.
Hey, everybody, I got Pete here from BikeWorks. How's it going, Pete?
It's going good.
Excellent, excellent. Can you tell me a little about where you're located and how you got started in this business?
Yeah, I'm located in the greater San Francisco East Bay area, about 30 minutes east of San Francisco, located in Contra Costa County, based in Concord, California, that area.
Okay.
And how I got started, it seems kind of funny, but I was just bored one day. It was I think it was like around February or March of 2011, and I was looking online for products to clean my motorcycle, and I came across one of these think tank bloggers. It just was titled "How to Start a Motorcycle Detailing Business," and then I read that. Then there was a part two: "Is starting a motorcycle detailing business a good idea?" And I kind of just thought, "Hey, I can do that." And I was already working at the time. I was living up in Jackson in the Sierra Foothills area, not too far from Lodi there, Mark.
Yes.
And it was kind of interesting. I was working at the casino at the time. I already had a full-time job. So I just kind of just started. I thought, be kind of cool part-time job, you know. I like keeping my motorcycle clean, so I'll keep other people's motorcycles clean. And it kind of started at that. Then that was in April 1st of 2011. And then come November 22nd of 2011, I got laid off at the casino. And I said, okay, well, let's see what I can do here. I'm going to have to see if I can maybe possibly do this full time, see where this detailing business can go, mainly focusing on motorcycles, of course. So then I moved back to the Bay Area just to get into a bigger market. I got some
Sure.
customers up in the Jackson area and was doing okay through a local motorcycle shop, but I just needed to get into a bigger area. Just need to be around more people. So,
Right,
and
right, right. So I can't remember when we first met. It's got to be in that time frame somewhere.
it was right around. I was researching coatings. I remember, I want to say it was close right around that area. It's about 2000, 13, God, 13 or 14. And I came across some coatings and then I saw on Facebook, I saw a Pearl Nano and I filled out some information, and that's when you reached out to me. And then we had quite a long conversation about coatings and everything, because that was just when I was starting to getting into coatings a little bit, because I was getting some requests for coatings for some customers, and I'm like, well, I better figure this one out.
So great. So your core business is motorcycles. Do you
Yep.
do some cars?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it works out to be about, I do probably now, we're about 75% motorcycles, 25% cars. So
Great, great, great. And
yeah.
are you doing full details, paint enhancements? Are you doing you have a shop? Are you working out of your house? What do you have going on?
I'm fully mobile, so
Okay.
everything I do is mobile. I toyed around with, how like a lot of people start out mobile, they have the goal of getting a shop and everything, which is cool.
Mhm.
But the feedback from my motorcycle customers, they love the fact that I am mobile. So I got to stay with the mobile. I got to go with what customers like and
Okay.
everything. So
How do you deal with the weather? I mean, now that it's winter, it's a little rough. Are you going and working in their garage? You're not obviously not working outside under a tent in the middle of, SF winter.
yeah, that's crazy thing. Like most mobile detailers, the biggest thing that affects you is the rain, for sure. But as far as with the motorcycles, I do all motorcycles. I do everything waterless. So I'm able to work in garages, and that's not a problem. And for a lot of customers, I do that. So there's been a lot of times I'm in a garage and it's storming outside pretty good. But
Right.
one of the things I found out is that the customers, the motorcyclists, they don't like having their motorcycles detailed and them not being wanting to ride it. I think they don't like the fact of looking at a freshly detailed motorcycle that's sitting in the garage and they can't go out and ride it. So that's part of the
Right.
thing where I gotta wait for the weather to be good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how do people find you?
They find me, the platform that has worked the best for me has been Google. It's one thing I learned
Oh,
is a lot of these motorcyclists, they're master Googlers. I had So the point when once I figured out how to get on the Google Business thing, that's been the biggest platform that's worked for me. I always ask my customers, how'd you hear about me? They said, I just did a Google search. I Googled motorcycle detailing near me and, I pop up. So I'm always trying to optimize that. There's a link to my website on that too. Plus, and then plus the social, platforms like Facebook works here and there, because I post all my stuff on Facebook and I
Right.
get messages here and there through Facebook. Same thing with Instagram. They all work. I'll run ads here and there too. They all work to a certain degree, but the Google platform has been the one that's worked the best.
Great. How about a blog or a YouTube channel?
I've been toying around with maybe possibly doing a YouTube channel, and I'm thinking about starting to do that for sure. Have not done a blog. I might try to set that up, a blog on my website though.
That's something that possible. Yes, YouTube is, I think, very important to start up, and then consistency seems to be the number one contributing factors to success. If you, I'm going to do just to say, I'm going to do a YouTube channel. Well, commit to once a day, twice a week, once a week, even once a month. If they see that you're doing once a month, even they will reward you with more people seeing it in your areas. But and I've been doing a lot of research on YouTube as well. Educational channels seem to be doing. Entertainment channels number one, but there's a lot of competition with entertainment. And I have talked with Evan and in New York and Jay in Hawaii, and his best videos were them just messing around, sliding in with the roller chair and wearing a wig and doing funny things like that. Don't know if that equates into more customers coming in the shop, but educational wise is, and we just talked with Jeff Mallory about this, is they don't understand the time, effort, and pain that you go through to clean a car and detail a car or a bike and all the small little details. When you show them how you polish a car for 5-6 hours, that's why it costs $1,200 for a paint correction and coatings. And it's not the coating that's so expensive, it's the time and effort. So when you show people the before, during, and after, and the testimonials and those kind of things, and you're posting them on your channel, and then here's the reason why I use this product for this problem, or here's your problem, your car's dirty, you went through the scratch and slap, and now it's swirled, and this is how I fix it. And I'm going to show you step by step, and then you could do this on your own, or you can call me and I'll do it for you. Those kind of videos, those educational and problem-solving videos seem to do very well. And you don't have to be a full-time YouTuber, even though some people have quit their full-time job and they're doing this full-time. But that took 5 years to get to that level when nobody but your aunt and your cousin has seen the last 100 videos. Now it pops and you actually are getting some traction. I highly recommend doing all that, but going back to Facebook and Instagram, the daily, take the video before, during, and after posting it. We have a 25% discount if you get in between here and the New Year's, whatever. You always have some kind of call to action. Those kind of things work very well. Problem, solution, call to action. The other thing that I'll just touch on very quickly is there's a whole format here is find a problem, you're the solution, or you have the solution, and then a call to action at the very end. So those are the things. It sounds a little car salesman like, but you have to ask for the business, or they're like, okay, that was great. Now I know how they do paint correction. Who was that guy again? No, you got to have, you have to be branding your brand and your personal brand all at the same time. So that's my pitch on your YouTube channel.
Absolutely. I've heard good things about detailers who have done YouTube channels, so I'm going to try to get started in that for sure. But yeah, it makes complete sense to me.
Great. And you said you were doing Facebook ads. How often are you doing ads, and what are you saying on those ads?
Well, I'll do Facebook ads a couple times a year. I probably honestly should do them more. And, I post an ad, showing a good picture of a motorcycle that I've detailed. Like a lot of times I'll boost the post and see what kind of results that gets. And then I'll also do like an ad targeting a certain area. Important thing is you want to make sure, people got to make sure they target the ads in a certain area, because I'll tell you, and especially this happens on Instagram a lot, is I'll get detailers in my feed from Miami, New York, Texas. I mean, you name it. And I'm just, well, these people in other states aren't going to pay you,
No.
so I
Yeah,
always
it's
make
very
sure that
important to Would you boost the post to hyper focus? We just talked about this with Jeff on the last podcast episode. Hyper focus on your persona. So your target market, these are lawyer bikers that have a dirty bike. I don't know. Whatever your best customer is, you want to have more of those. So you focus that, and then their interests and then their vicinity, a 20-mile radius, a 50-mile radius, a 10-mile radius, whatever, how far you want to travel. And then you can focus on that persona and those people, that country club membership guys and the Corvette guys and the Harley guys. You can hyper focus with Facebook and Instagram on just those people and not shotgun it out to everybody else that don't care. They never wash their car, even if it was dirty.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's important.
Yeah, and then I'll say something like, running a special, get your motor, springtime special, get your motorcycle detailed. We're the top area experts in motorcycle detailing. Get your motorcycle detailed by a detailer who owns and rides and operates motorcycles also, that kind of thing. So
okay.
I want to
And
always,
because people's attention span is super, super short, you got to, maybe even there's a suggestion, even dirty bike, we got the solution. They have a problem, you have the solution. So, schedule here. So something as simple as that. I mean, people are just like, they just glance, okay, let me click on that real quick and let me schedule this out. So great. How about some tips or tricks? Any tools that you use to do some of these things? How do you clean the little parts on a motorcycle? I have no idea. I mean, I've never really done a complete detail on a bike. It seems a little hard.
yeah, one of the things that when I first started, I was doing an internet search just on motorcycle detailing in general when I started to do it. And it was kind of like a nationwide search. And one of the things is there wasn't, you had a lot of detailers out there, obviously, and then not really anybody who specialized in motorcycles that I saw. So I came across this one site called chopperdetailing.com. So this is back in 2011 when I started, and this is a guy who's out of Savannah, Georgia. And he did some sort of he ran some sort of big communication company. He kind of just did the detailing on the side out of the shop. And so he showcased the products that he used, and he did everything waterless too. But his main focus was on these custom choppers, which at the time was still pretty big. And so I kind of just adopted it. It made sense to me. I read his whole process and it made sense to me. So that's kind of how I got started. I emailed him back and forth a few times too. So there was this product, good foaming cleaner that I liked by Honda called Honda Spray Cleaner, and ordered that, started messing around with that. That was pretty good. But the thing was, is there was these little tools. They were called pimp sticks, kind of a funny name, IMPSTIXXX. And so I went to that website, and what it is it came in this little case, and there were these like tools. There was like a long stick, a short stick, and they had these little heads that you screw on. So for instance, there's one that's kind of like the size of a popsicle stick. And then there's another head that's like a pointed one, a point, which is what I use like 90% of the time. And that helps me get into the tight areas. You wrap a microfiber towel around it, spray the surface. Like you can get into the engine fins really good with these little pointed areas. I can corner things really good. And then you got to kind of sort of get creative with your hands. Like I'll have a towel around my fingers and kind of get into certain crazy little areas. So a little experimenting with that. And it took a little bit, but I got this process down pretty quick. So, a lot of people say, well, doing things, waterless, it's going to take a lot longer. Well, not necessarily. Once you get good at it and you get a good process down and you stick with your process, you'd be surprised how fast you can get stuff done, with the waterless approach.
Right. Okay, great. And then the ceramic side is working great on bikes and also cars?
Yeah, so the coatings, more and more motorcyclists been asking about ceramic coatings, and so I'll get those here and there, obviously with the paint correction. Cars too, here and there. That's the only little bit of thing is this year, just economy a little bit. Business is the part of my business that has been down is the bigger ticket items like the paint corrections and the ceramic coatings have been down a little bit just this year. So sometimes I charge accordingly for these prices, and for ceramic coatings, and for some people, it kind of shocks them, I guess.
Yeah,
But then
some
I
of them do. Yes, yes, yes. But then, so what I tell people is if they're not going to spend, I'm not spending 2 grand with you no matter what. I'm like, all right, no problem. You're going to let them walk out the door, or are you going to have another option for them? So that's where the paint enhancement, the one step, and
Mhm.
maybe a coating like my Easy Coat, it's a 3 to 5 year, and versus the 5+ year of the XV2. So don't let them walk out the door.
Nope.
I just remembered I had the $500 package. Oh, well, I could spend $500. So now you got them. And let me get you an Uber home, and then we'll tell you when your car is ready or your bike is ready later on. Or I can even show up and do this in your garage. So always have an option if some of these people are just not going to buy your number one package, have a lower grade package. Or I tell people the good, better, best. So here's the good. It doesn't take a lot of time. You want them in this better one, but then the best is out of this world. It's a $10,000, paint correction that no one's ever going to order, but it sure makes the middle one look good, is how that works.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a couple of options for them. So if they don't bite on that first option with the coating and correction, we got option B and option C with
Great. Some people don't have that. Some people only have one, and that's it. You want this or you can go home. I'm like, no, that's not how this works. It's
no,
all
no,
about solving problems, and not everybody has the same pocketbooks or
yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that, Dave. Like I don't like to have a whole big menu. You see some detailers that got this big menu. I like to keep things simple, especially when it comes to motorcycles. So I do. I'm with you. I don't want to let a customer walk out the door because they don't want to spend $1,000 or.
Right, but you can't overwhelm them with information and here you pick. I'm like looking at this menu going, forget it. I'll just go down to Johnny Wreck My Ride down the street and just let him do it. How do you like that, Johnny Wreck My Ride?
Yeah, that's good.
So, and then people get, paralyzed with too many things. So
Oh yeah.
good, better, best, which one do you want? Is that today, tomorrow, cash check? Just give them simple little questions and you'll get it going. So if they're giving you a bunch of problems, you're the professional, you can agree to disagree and move on your merry way. But not everybody's your customer. But if they did drive all the way across town, or they did call you and got on your schedule, and so maybe there's a way to work it. I'm probably digging myself a hole here. But anyways, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Great. So moving on to the next part is what kind of advice you would give a up and coming detailer or even a seasoned vet?
Advice, one of the things that I had to realize is not everybody, and it took me a little bit to kind of figure this out, but not everybody appreciates the service. Not everybody with the sports car is going to be your customer. Not everybody with an exotic car, just like not everybody with a custom motorcycle or custom Harley is going to be my customer. I kind of had to learn that a little bit. The other thing too is when you're first.
So why do you say that? Why do you say that? So are you saying that they're contacting you, or when you contact them, you just assume they have a motorcycle that they would want their car or motorcycle to be detailed, and they're saying, no, I'll just do it myself? Where is that coming from?
That's coming from. So what I started doing is my uncle rode with a riding group and a motorcycle club. So they used to have like a poker run. So what I did is I had a little vendor set up with my little booth there, with my banner,
Oh,
my pop up. And so what I
mhm,
used to
mhm.
do, what I started out doing was said, well, instead of just handing out, we can do some demonstrations there. Like I would do quick once over details for the guys coming in and charge them like $40 for a quick once over detail, spend about a half hour on the bike. And there was a lot of people that gravitated towards that. Then they asked me like, how much would it cost, come out there. And then I would just go up to random people at the events, hand them my business card, tell them what I do. And that's kind of where that was coming from.
And some people said yes, and some people said, get away from me.
Yep. That's it. Yeah. Some people just like, so not every motorcyclist is going to appreciate the service, even though, because I was kind of thinking, hey, there's nobody that I see that specializes in motorcycles like I do. And also too, I own motorcycles. I'm an avid rider. So it's not like, that lends a lot of credibility to what I'm doing. And not everybody bites on that. So I
And
just had
then
to learn.
what is your experience been with niching? You know, when you say detailing, we'll clean everything. You know, Ian is doing combines and planes and forklifts and trucks and cars. I mean, you're doing bikes and cars, but you're mainly doing bikes. Some people do snowmobiles or
Yep.
something, or niching and micro niching. What has your experience been with that?
It's been pretty good. It's been pretty good because there's just not a lot of people who actually have a lot of experience of detailing motorcycles, and a lot of detailers that I've networked with, talked to, they don't wanna do motorcycles, or B, they don't like them, kinda thing. So that's kinda opened up the floodgates for
What,
me
they got
coming into
fat
the spec.
fingers or something? They can't get in there? I don't know why.
I don't know, I think they kinda just they look at the motorcycle and you know, they don't see it the same way I do, with, detailing it, but some, they'll just pressure wash and foam cannon, call it a day, which isn't the best thing to do with motorcycles a lot of times.
Are you saying because of like electronics and electrical systems, you get water and then it doesn't start and these
Yeah.
things?
Yeah.
Or 5 hours later, it's dripping down and causing problems and other things?
Yeah, see, especially with a lot of definitely with a lot of those custom choppers, everything's all really open. There's not a lot of housing for the electrical, the wiring harness and everything. So you can cause a lot of problems with if you're gonna try to pressure wash a custom motorcycle, custom chopper. Even the modern day Harleys, they're okay, but the problem is you got these speakers, and even though they're waterproof, and I remember I got in a discussion years ago with a detailer. When I first moved back to the Bay Area, I was kinda helping out this one shop because I figured I better learn how to do cars too, and so we were talking motorcycles, and he says, "Well, Pete, motorcycles, the modern day motorcycles, they're meant to get wet." I said, "Wet meaning rainwater." "Yes, not pressure washer, wet." Huge difference what
Right.
happened there. I've had 3 or 4 detailers out of the blue call me because they were detailing a motorcycle, and they finished and it wouldn't start. So I had to go through, 2 of them had to do because of the stereo wouldn't work, and another 2, they didn't start, but they were a little bit older, and they were carbureted. So
Water in the carburetor.
yeah, so there's
Yes,
some
yes. So
precautions.
like another guy I met in Texas, he did a Tesla and he wet sanded a little spot, a brand new Tesla hood, and it went through like that. And it cost like $2,000 to get resprayed,
Yeah.
you know,
I've
bad
heard
day.
some crazy stuff with the Tesla paint. Oh, it's not it's definitely not the easiest to work with. So I have a few Tesla customers, but I've never had to take a polisher to the paint, which is good.
Yeah, it's very thin and very careful with that. So that's why a lot of them get PPF. And then I'm up here in the Portland area. I'm gonna go visit the shop down the street. They only do PPF and coatings on mostly Teslas. And
Mm,
there's another company they used to work for that only does Teslas. I mean, they have 5 franchises across the country, so they only do Teslas. And these people broke free, and now they have their own shop, and they'll do any car, but they still mainly do best Teslas. So the niche thing. So great, great, great. How about any other advice, marketing advice, sales advice, detailing advice for the up and coming guys to help them make more money as well?
yeah, the biggest thing is definitely some people like to focus on mainly like one avenue or platform, or I kinda like to fire on all cylinders. So that's why I've experimented with the ads, whether it's Facebook, Instagram. Well, like I said before, Google is the best platform. You definitely wanna be on Google Businesses. I mean, that's free, and then you can run Google Ads at the same time too.
Oh no,
I kinda like the way
we might have
I kinda
lost them
figured that
there.
it would made sense to me, and it was so simple, was after listening to when I got into listening to Grant Cardone,
I'll be on a
and,
call.
one of the things
Let's see
he
if he
said
calls
is,
back.
you gotta get out of obscurity, and the famous quote I like from him when he says, "If they don't know you, they can't flow you." So you gotta get around enough people, run all those ads, get on Google might
Calling all detailers, gather around the sound of place to learn the secrets that will lift you off the ground. Tips and tools and stories shared from shop to shop, helping you grow stronger with each neatly polished drop. Calling all detailers podcast, guiding every grind, helping detailers make more money, one show at a time. From the first rinse of the morning to the final shine at night, the wisdom in each episode will help you get it right. Raise your rates with confidence, let your business climb. Tune in and keep leveling, one detail at a time. Calling all detailers podcast, guiding every grind, helping detailers make more money, one show at a time. Calling all detailers podcast, guiding every grind, helping detailers make more money, one show at a